So I don't talk often with my friends about RuneScape. I don't know if it's embarrassment for me or what, but I just don't often mention it in groups. I don't know if you feel the same way. But for whatever reason, the other day I asked my friend if he played RuneScape back in the day. I'll have you know I've played RuneScape my entire life and continue to play it. And I've got a lot of hours logged in RuneScape. But yeah, he said that he played RuneScape back in the day. And I asked him, well, what was your best experiences playing RuneScape? And what he said kind of surprised me. He said that he remembers going through Varrock from Lumbridge and almost getting completely destroyed by the mages there. When he finally broke into Varrock, he remembers going up by the bank. He was undoubtedly on World 1 or 2. And the bank there was flooded with people advertising stuff. They were all shouting objects that he had no idea what they were, but they were selling them. And he was absolutely fascinated. He hung out a while. He eventually leveled up his character and did some quests. People would follow him around during the quests, asking him random stuff, and he had no idea. He was chopping willow logs in Draenor, and the head of his axe, he said, flew off, and everybody there laughed at him, and he was hoping one of those crazy tree ants would spawn and completely destroy him. He said he doesn't really remember much of like the actual content. He said he remembered interacting with all the people. I don't know if I can say the same about RuneScape today. What he said kind of surprised me, and it gave me a lot of thought and focus, and it made me want to make this video. Today I feel like RuneScape is the MMO for people who really hate MMOs. And I'm saying this not to put all of the blame on Jagex. I will do some of that. But I feel like the player base itself does not really want to interact with group content because there's no incentive to do that, and they have a bad time. This, I feel, is a very toxic way of thinking for an MMO. And I'll explain some of these examples throughout the video. What I mean by MMO is that there are activities where players interact. It's massively multiplayer and online. The most interaction that RuneScape players have today is going through the GE, or Center of Prefer, or whatever your bank hub is, and happening to bump into people there. Do you ever talk to the people at the banks there? Or try to? Do they ever respond? Do you ever see other people interacting with other players? You often feel like you're in a great big world in RuneScape because there's so many NPCs around. It's sort of like a virtual North Korea, where RuneScape is truly a great MMO. And always thriving. 90% of the game is all solo content. You can almost get by all the way through. I mean, one of the most rewarding bosses in the game is Telos, and it's completely solo. And if it's not solo, there's always more rewards for doing it in a smaller party, with some exceptions, sure. And to make these groups, you have to know somebody. There's no real means in-game of networking with people to get learners into groups. I mean, just to test this, try to be 0KC Yaka and get into a raid group, a full raid. Prepare to spend your entire day in distress. There's no real matchmaking system. I mean, there is a matchmaking system, but you usually see that like two people are queuing, and when they join your group, you're like, oh, I didn't know this was a thing, and then you kick them, and you're like, okay, where's my friend at? And you invite him instead. But why would you invite friends to Elite Dungeons or something? You get less rewards for it, so why would you interact with anybody in Elite Dungeons? It's faster, sure, by a little bit, a couple minutes, but the rewards greatly outscale that experience. Why would you ever bring a learner to Elite Dungeons? Sure, I mean, it feels good teaching people stuff, but you have no reward for it. There's training points so you can get some stupid owl. That's cool, I guess. Imagine if Elite Dungeons was the other way around. Imagine if solos were the way where you would just sort of pick up some of the mechanics, go through it on your own time, And then you're preparing for the big group event. Maybe it's your clan, maybe it's your group of friends, maybe it's a random person in the queuing and the matchmaking, maybe it's some guy you met at the willow trees, but you're going to go through ED1, damn it, and by God, you're going to get the best drops possible. That is, ED in groups is going to be very hard, but you can do it. I don't know what the obsession is with making hard mode having less people. Shouldn't it be the other way around for an MMO? So undoubtedly the best boss, as you're probably watching right now, because all I do is do raids, is the raid bosses. These bosses have mechanics that require people to feel like they're a part of a team. I am picking up 10 planks, and my goal is to step on poison and to take this pool. And by God, if I mess it up, people are going to die on my watch. And it's going to feel bad. You have to have the fear of feeling bad in order to have the great moments. When I kill Yaka as a part of a team, dude, I feel like it's one of the best experiences in game. At least for me. I mean, this is all my opinion, but my opinion's the best opinion, and everybody else is wrong. Yeah, Yaka is just the best boss, man. None of the dailies in game are group centric. I mean, imagine if things like this is just pitching ideas, and I don't want Jagex to take any of these. I just want things going forward to be more group centric. Imagine if player-owned farms was a community project where, like, my God, there was some progress meter. Like, everybody had to donate something. Everybody had a role, maybe for a week, to update the farm, talk to Granny so she doesn't quit. Like, okay, like, I'm on rabbit duty, and by God, you better not mess up the dragon duty, otherwise my XP is gonna tank. I mean, just imagine, like, all the people that would be at player-owned farms. Right now, people will show up at player-owned farms and do their own thing, and then they leave. Like, it's just a big miss, and it's a long line of big misses. We used to have quests that required other people, now there are 0. There used to be a quest called Shield of Arav, where you had to meet somebody from the other gang and get their shield half. Like, who complained about this just because you can't do it on your own? Could you find nobody in RuneScape? The game is not that dead to find nobody in RuneScape to help you. All of the skills are completely solo-centric as well. Excluding Dungeoneering, which is a fantastic skill, great rewards. Dungeoneering has networked groups together that would have never been networked otherwise. Entire clans formed around efficiently Dungeoneering, and then selling these Dungeoneering skills to other people. I mean, entire friends chats. All of the friends chats in game are from valuable group content. And there's like 3. Raid FC, Whirlpool, D&D, and yeah, Dungeoneering, I guess. That's about it. Now, match that against all of the solo content in the game, and you're just completely overwhelmed. I mean, where is the MMO? And the reason why I say RuneScape is the MMO for people who hate MMOs is I don't know if it's Jagex's fault for messing up that balance and reward system, or if it's just the players, that's how they want it. But it doesn't make any sense to me, and there's no out for people who want the MMO experience. Because at any moment, I can go to another MMO and get that experience. And then RuneScape basically becomes a glorified action RPG, where you hack and slash and, well, do your own thing, I suppose. I mean, and all of this just moves beyond PvM. PvM is obviously the most popular thing in RuneScape right now. It's the end-all, be-all. It's the creme de la creme of RuneScape. And Jagex recognizes this, and they're moving towards fixing it. Probably with a new skill, Archaeology, coming soon. But beyond PvM, it's more of the same, guys. There's no group questing. There's no group treasure trails or anything. I mean, that was a huge miss too. That's entirely solo content for solo rewards. Imagine if there was just group treasure trails. Imagine if you had complex puzzles where groups had to work out together. They'd get better rewards. You had group bosses when you dug up the spot. There would be some angry pirate, and it definitely required more than one person to take it down. I mean, my God, the popularity of treasure trails multiplied into groups. And of course, like keep the solo stuff around, sure, whatever. But like align the rewards and such, so that way group content can come back into the game. I mean, even the story of RuneScape is entirely solo-centric. And of course, I'm not asking for Jagex to change the entire story. Actually, a very good story. But you are a powerful world guardian, defender of Gelnor. Never mind everybody around you that is also a powerful world guardian and a defender of Gelnor. They either don't exist or, no, trust me, you're the real world guardian. It just kind of seems off. The achievements in the game, dude, I love achievements. The solo achievements are fantastic. But there's no group achievements. I mean, so pull up your achievements list right now, because you're probably playing RuneScape while watching this, and scroll down to like the clan achievements. There's like what, 4? You probably have them all, like accidentally. Didn't really know they were there, did you? Imagine if that was larger. Imagine if it just kept track. And of course, clan content has been updated. Did you know it's been updated? It's been updated. Clan content, like, it now has more rewards for doing the Citadel stuff. And thank God they fixed the avatar thing, because that was just annoying. But now there is a reason for clans to cap. A community project where they get genuine benefits, the 6% XP buff, a huge reward. And it brings people together on a project to accomplish a task. Fantastic addition to the game. One of the best updates that's been around in a long time. But there's no achievements associated with it, and there's no real sense of pride in your clan, and no comparative goals that can be compared across other clans. I mean, imagine if it just kept track of things like how many times people said LOL in chat, laughed with one another, or grouped up through the event calendar log thing, or how many people have actually capped the Citadel throughout its history. Imagine if you got an achievement for getting that dragon, or some sort of pet or title or whatever. Just some sort of reward for being a part of that group content. This is all just examples. Nothing like this exists in the game so far. The dragon is incredibly hard to get for at least medium-sized clans. And when you get it, it's there, it's neat. But it could be so much better. And so just imagine other things that could be different in RuneScape. Like a 20-person boss. So Yakamaru right now is undoubtedly one of the best bosses in RuneScape. It has fantastic rewards. You walk away from raids with nearly 3 mil every time. Consistent. There's a chance at a codex, which is awesome. It's like a sweet bonus money. And those are like pretty common. And you can get Acto, one of the best tanking armors in the game. Like very good rewards. And you feel like you're a part of the team. I better not mess up Shark 10. I got those 10 planks. If I don't put them down, that freaking thing's going to come back and my team's going to be mad at me. I don't want them to be mad at me. I need to do good. Do you ever really care if you mess up anything else? I mean, I don't know. I guess I care about the game more when I have reason to. We had like a 20-person boss with insane mechanics that required like people of different combat style. Like, dude, rangers, yeah, you 5 rangers, you need to run up on that hill and snipe that dude before they reach our mages. Otherwise, like, those guys are going to die, and we're going to have to wipe the entire kill. That would be insane. I don't know if it's the community just really doesn't want a boss like this, or if Jagex is unwilling to make it. But either way, if it were made, the rewards would be greater for doing it alone. Or doing it in a smaller group. Because, you know, God forbid we play with other players in our MMO. And all of this isn't to suggest that Jagex follows my opinions and inserts all of my ideas into the game. I mean, yeah, everybody has their own ideas on how they make the game better. But for me, this is just a larger trend of video games throughout history that kind of made me sad. My friend that was talking about the large community involvement back in his day, I experienced that as well. I'm avoiding saying old school RuneScape, but back in the day RuneScape. Because old school RuneScape today has the same problems with solo content, I think. Although it may be a little bit better, because I think the community is maybe more sociable. I don't know. But yeah, like, it's just a larger trend of games back in the day. Like, back in the day, I played Halo 2, and everybody was in party chat, and you could chat with one another, you could trash talk. My god, that made me a man. Just like trash talking with other people from across the world, and then beating them in the game, dude. You'd beat them in the game, and you would feel like you'd go to bed like a god. Where is that today? Everybody's off in their own little silos. You log into Xbox Live, and I know this is getting off the topic of RuneScape, but you go into Xbox Live, you go into a party chat, and you're by yourself the entire time. Don't interact with other people. What? This was one of the strongest arguments we had for video gaming back in the day. No, mom, dad, no, I'm playing with friends. They're really good friends of mine. I know some of them from high school, but some of them live in New York. And they're fantastic people. I'm like, oh, okay. I mean, the guy's hanging out with people. What do I say now? Like, mom, dad, this is XP waste, man. What? Like, what? This is a long trend of video games becoming more accessible. And man, it grinds my gears. The biggest problem in RuneScape. Because the game adapts to the player rather than the player adapting to the damn game. I mean, just an example of this is things like MTX. It's just a shortcut. It's the game saying, "Oh, here you go, players. You want more XP? Yeah, hey, give us some money, sure." And then you can reach the end game content, no problem. It's smoldering lamps weeks. I mean, double keys. Here you go. It's double XP weekend, guys. You better be on. You better be grinding the shit out. Hey, at least the benefit of double XP is it's a set time where people can log on and do some kind of interacting. But like, the strongest argument people have for accessible video games is that they say, well, I paid for the game. I want the content. But dude, you don't pay for the end game content. You pay for the journey. Did you buy Fallout or The Witcher or GTA just to face the final boss or act? No. You paid for the journey, dude. You have to go through the entire arc. And man, you're gonna have some losses, you're gonna have some wins, but dude, when you get to the end, it's gonna feel like crack. Dude, I unlocked stuff, like I got MaxCape and it was like, oh, neat. I'm grinding out this comp grind and I'm super close to finishing, and it just feels like nothing. So many people have been there before. They did it all by themselves. And yeah, they're taking out group content from comp as well. Because, who needs group content in an MMO? No longer will you need to do that Castle Wars wreck, which, my god, it was an ungodly wreck. But, like, you're not going to half it? It's not going to say play one game of Castle Wars? It's just eliminate the entire thing? For Comp Cape, it's more of the same. Remove the Reaper wreck. Because people don't want to do group content in an MMO. Sure, let's make the game accessible towards those people deciding to play an MMO and not wanting to do group content. I mean, Jagex, I would appreciate Jagex way more if they just told people to fuck off every now and again. Like, seriously, even if it was to me, if they were like, no, this is the game how we have it, and you need to mold to it, I'd be like, alright, man, fair enough. I would adapt, and I would overcome. The player adapts to the game. That's what creates investment. If the game adapts to you, there's no investment, and your achievements feel meaningless. Or you invent some meaning that quickly deteriorates by the new flashy thing that you want. Oh, look, there's trim comp. I guess I can get 200 mil on that. I'm going to go for that other boss now, I guess. You have to work for it. There's no shortcuts, man. And RuneScape's full of shortcuts. MTX. Buy the lamps, get to the end. Staking. My god, staking. Like, dude, you come across somebody in RuneScape And let's say they have full Shadow Dyed Elite Serenic. Say they have a Shadow Dyed Noxbow as well. I mean, this guy is decked out and looks badass. Can you tell the difference of whether he saved up and grinded a large, impressive loot tab to eventually sell for that gear? For that override? For that blue party hat or whatever? Or just went and staked it? There's no way of you knowing. That completely deteriorates any sort of like financial meaning in the game. And you don't even have to interact with other players anymore. There's no tax on the GE. There's no downside to using the shortcuts of the GE. I mean, if you're an Iron Man, you don't have to interact with players at all. Like, you're prevented from doing it ever. I mean, you can do some solo bosses, but you can't group dungeoneer. You certainly can't trade with other players. And it's weird. It's weird that there is just the way the game is. It's completely frustrating. It's completely different from how I remember it back in the day. Maybe I'm an old curmudgeon that remembers games back when they used to be, but I think there's an audience for this that's completely, I guess, frustrated and saddened that games have kind of gone in this direction, become more accessible, and have kind of deteriorated group experiences. Some of the best friends that I've ever made in my life, I made back in those Halo 2 lobbies. Back in the days where you were bringing controllers to school to RRX, YRRX, quad shot people down. And you were hoping to hop on RuneScape to find that one guy. You'd get on the same time, and you'd go do the thing together. Dude, those were the days, man. And now it's like, it's like your job. You're gonna hop onto RuneScape to put in your hours because you know the achievement's there, I guess. And then what after that? There's no interaction in an MMORPG. And I think it's part of a fear. It's a fear on both ends from Jagex and the players. Because you can never have negative experiences if you just can't have experiences. And that to me is deeply frustrating. And this to me, the mix of accessibility in video games and the lack of group content and group interactions in an MMORPG is the biggest problem in RuneScape. I don't have a fancy intro or exit. I'm not going to ask you to like, comment, and subscribe, and I sure as shit don't have a Patreon you can donate money to. All I ask is that you talk about it. Meet up with somebody, find a Discord community or something, and interact with somebody. In game, out of game, whatever. I feel like the strongest argument that we have for video gaming now against all the curmudgeons that hate us is that it's a group activity. We're socializing. My God. And this spans outside of RuneScape. Right now, I think we live in a world where people are afraid to interact, engage, and exchange. Be it ideas, be it experiences. I mean, people feel so shy. And it's like, dude, I don't know. I don't know what it is. But thanks for watching. Thanks for sticking it through. I'm really interested in your thoughts. Again, this is all just my opinion and my experiences, so feel free to share your own. I'll be looking at the comments and responding to people. But thanks, guys. See ya.